Why is the desire to build monuments so strong and lasting? What is it that sparks the desire or need to build monuments? From the earliest cave paintings, mankind has always felt a need to leave in some way its mark on its surroundings. This is often done as a reminder to present and future generations of the life and accomplishments of an individual, society, or nation. The desire to leave art and artifacts for posterity is a natural human response. To allow the lessons and experiences of one's own life to mean something to future generations is an innate human desire. The imposing and majestic proportions of a monumental sculpture give a sense of strength and evoke admiration and wonder. Great outdoor monumental sculptures create a lasting visual appeal, are prestigious, and often attract large numbers of tourists. The powerful effects of a monumental statue, in one particular case, has had important consequences. A visit to Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro elicited a powerful reaction in Erbil Arkin, founder of AROCAD, the Arkin University of Creative Arts and Design. In part, it was the way that the Corcovado mountain dominated the city of Rio, much in the way the Five-Finger Mountain Range does to Kyrenia. For Arkin, however, the idea that was developing was for a statue in Cyprus that all Cypriots would identify with as being inherent to their culture and traditions. His desire was for a monument that would celebrate and exalt the inner nobility of ordinary folk.
Civilizations are judged by the art that they leave behind. And I wanted a monument for my own country that we could leave behind, especially in a place like Cyprus, where it seems to change hands every millennium or every few hundred years. I just wanted to leave something lasting from our time behind.
In this country, which has witnessed divisions and conflicts in its past, the noble peasant will be a unifying factor that will glorify these roots. Until only a few generations ago, almost all Cypriots were sons and daughters of the soil, farmers, livestock breeders, and peasants.
But there is one thing that's the basis of Cyprus, is that Cyprus is a country of peasants for hundreds, for thousands of years. And I wanted to honor the Cypriot peasant. When you look at them, they are very noble people. So the name of the statue became, naturally, the Noble Peasant.
And so, the idea of the noble peasant was born. This was to be the statue of a humble yet proud peasant, who possesses an instinctive wisdom descended from a past rooted in their homeland and their ancestors, whose wealth derives not from the material possessions, but from the labor of their hands and the goodness of their hearts. The noble peasant, 40 meters in height and standing sentinel over the coastline, has the potential to bring world renown to North Cyprus, as a symbol of pride in the capabilities and resourcefulness of its people. As a work of engineering and artistic excellence, it will long outlast our lifetime and will be a gift to future generations. The Arkin University of Creative Arts and Design, AROCAD, situated in North Cyprus, is a non-profit foundation university and is essentially a philanthropic venture with a stated aim of providing world-class arts and design education in the Eastern Mediterranean. In August 2018, AROCAD announced an open call to artists, designers, architects, and creative minds from all artistic fields to submit designs for an iconic monumental statue. Over 80 submissions from 30 countries were received. After considerable deliberation, the submissions were reduced to 6 finalists. In their own way, each of the finalists represented an outstanding interpretation of the competition brief, an artistic vision of the universal noble peasant. The works of the 6 finalists were displayed in exhibitions held at the prestigious Royal Society of Sculptors in London and at the art rooms in Kyrenia. An international jury was convened in Cyprus, where, after intense deliberations, a winner and runners-up were selected. The work chosen was the magnificent submission of Lotta Blokker from the Netherlands, a sculptor of international renown.
What fascinated me most about the assignments was that the statue represented an anonymous peasant. Statues with a large scale most often represent a leader. I was inspired by the idea of giving the normal, hard-working human being a stage. The noble Cypriot peasant stands for the original roots of Cyprus. In my sculptures, I use universal themes and translate them into an ordinary subjects which we can relate to. My main goal is to create a peasant that stands for humanity.
Monumental sculptures in many parts of the world are powerful icons and bold statements of intent. The Statue of Liberty in New York, Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro, and the Angel of the North in Gateshead, UK, have become instantly recognised symbols of those cities or regions, known around the world. Arukad plans to build a sculpture which, at 40 metres in height, will be taller than Christ the Redeemer and one of the tallest statues in Western Europe. It is pertinent here to remember that many monumental structures faced strong resistance in their own countries before they were built. In Paris, various pamphlets and articles were published throughout the year of 1886, including the protest against the Eiffel Tower. Some protesters pushed the violent diatribe even further, hurling insults, calling the tower this truly tragic street lamp, and this high and skinny pyramid of iron ladders. Similarly, there was strong resistance to Antony Gormley's Angel of the North in Gateshead. When the Gormley design was revealed as the preferred option, it was met with a torrent of negative publicity. Some thought it was blasphemous or a waste of money. Others simply disliked the design, and a campaign was initiated to stop the sculpture. Today, both monuments are widely adored, and neither Paris nor Gateshead can be imagined without them. The site chosen for the Noble Peasant statue is a prominent hill overlooking the town of Kyrenia. 3 kilometers to the west is the castle of St. Hilarion, and eastwards, the mountain range is home to the beautiful Abbey of Bellepais and the Crusader castles of Buffavento and Cantara. 2 kilometers immediately north on the seafront is Kyrenia Castle. From the vantage point of the chosen location, the coastline and Taurus Mountains of Turkey are visible on any clear day. The Noble Peasant will be a careful balance of art and engineering that characterises a completely novel approach to monumental sculpture construction. A project of these dimensions requires a huge team effort, and Arukad has put together a team that blends youthful dynamism with specialist experience. A large factory is being built in the industrial zone of Nicosia for the construction of the statue that will create employment and enable state-of-the-art technologies to be brought to the country. The outer covering of the statue will be cast in bronze at this factory. After the construction of the statue, the factory will continue to serve artists and designers. The chief engineer has given careful consideration to factors such as wind shear, its susceptibility to high winds and to earthquakes. Wind speeds of up to 170 km per hour and earthquakes of up to 7 on the Richter scale have been allowed for. The design project aims to be innovative and sustainable, taking into consideration the impact of transportation access, environmental constraints, and infrastructure improvements. The entire area is designed to be fully in harmony with the setting of the installation, not only minimising the environmental impact, but enhancing the surroundings with reforestation and landscaping.
Heykel projemizin en önemlisi kısıtlı bir mekanda çok ciddi bir strüktür içerisinden çekirdek, merdiven ve asansörü en alt kottan en üst 40 metre bandına kadar taşıyabilmek bizim için en önemli noktalardan biriydi.
In a rapidly developing town, the Noble Peasant will be surrounded by a comprehensive green space that will become a permanent park within the greater Kyrenia urban area. Preventing further development of the green space in which it is located, an arboretum and herbarium are planned for the site to showcase the indigenous flora. Sustainable design is an integral part of the Noble Peasant Project. We are mindful of the importance of being good stewards to the environment by constantly striving to protect resources.
You can think of a visit to the statue of the Noble Peasant as three different experiences: the statue itself, the plaza, and the surrounding mountainside. The statue itself is, of course, the most important part of the visit. There will be a well-tended gardens and a sculptural park, specially laid out with local flora. And the wider hill environment in the Five Finger Mountains will allow for walks on extensive natural trails.
The Noble Peasant statue, set against the backdrop of the Five Finger Mountain range and facing the Mediterranean Sea, would create huge waves of publicity for Cyprus as a whole. Monumental art of this kind, especially when it is placed in a photogenic setting, creates enduring interest. It is known, for example, that nearly all visitors to Kyrenia eventually visit its magnificent castle. We envisage the same for the Noble Peasant. If 1 million people visit Kyrenia in any given year, then that many will also visit the statue. From many examples around the world, we can see how great monumental works bring enormous prestige, publicity and revenue to the countries in which they are located.
Bizim Arukat olarak inancımız, heykelin yapımı tamamlandığı zaman adaya gelecek olan herkesin öncelikle asil köylüyü ziyaret edecek olmasıdır.
It is important to realize that the overall benefits to a city, region or country is far greater than just the visitor numbers times the entrance ticket price. Each visitor may be in the country for 1 or maybe 2 weeks, or even longer, staying in hotels, eating in restaurants, taking taxis, visiting other sites. On their return home, they become ambassadors of the countries they have visited, as they relate their experiences to friends and families, making them want to visit too. In this way, the overall value of certain monuments has been calculated to show that the Eiffel Tower, for example, is worth a staggering 400 billion euros to the French economy. The Colosseum in Rome, 83 billion euros to Italy. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, 82 billion euros to Spain. And Stonehenge, with only 1 million visitors, the same as Kyrenia Castle, is worth over 9 billion euros to the UK economy. In addition to the huge income they generate, they also serve as instantly recognisable icons of those cities and those countries' attraction as must-visit destinations. The Noble Peasant statue, when it is constructed, will boldly enhance the location and will be a holistic icon of Cyprus and a high-visibility tourist attraction. Nestling in the Five Finger Mountain range and facing the town of Kyrenia, the iconic statue will dominate the skyline for hundreds of years. Declaration. This project will be carried out in cooperation between the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus Ministry of National Education and Culture, the Municipality of Kyrenia, and the Arkan University of Creative Arts and Design, ARUCAD. The construction of the Noble Peasant Project will be funded entirely by Erbil Arkan and ARUCAD without any use of public resources and is a gift to the people of Cyprus. After completion of the sculpture, the statue, with all its economic value and potential, will be transferred to an administration that includes the municipality of Kyrenia. It is anticipated that the income generated by the statue will be used primarily for the maintenance of the natural park in which it resides. The remaining revenues will fund various artistic, cultural, and environmental projects.